And good evening. Welcome to another live broadcast from straight out of, I would say sunny Arizona, but it's in the night, it's in the evening as well. I'm looking out my window right now and we're seeing just a little bit more light from the sun that we had earlier today. And this is after a week of just it being nonstop, off and on rain and a lot of clouds. But we're not complaining out here because, man, I tell you, you live in the desert. Every drop of water you're grateful for. We're thankful for that. And so it's been a good change of pace. This time of the year, it gets, one thing I can't say out here, that temperature drops really quick. But that's relative, because, out here, we're looking at 59 degrees. 59 degrees, that's where we are right now. But, some other parts of the country is a little bit more colder than that. But like I said, again, another nice day. I hope you guys had a wonderful day as well. And this is something that we started a few weeks ago. And I had a lot of things going on. I haven't been able to get back to doing this, but I've been wanting to do this on Sunday nights where we just sit back and we just listen to some nice music, maybe talk a little bit about some of the news. We're not going to get too heavy and just get our minds right, for this another week. And this is a big week. This is a holiday week, regardless if you celebrate it or acknowledge it or not. It's a holiday week. And so, that means for some of you, you're going to have some time off. Others, well, you're still going to be working, but be thankful for that too, because, at least you got some income coming in. There's a lot of people out there right now complaining that because they don't have a job. So lots to be thankful for. So we're going to give people a little bit of time to come in. And then after that, we're going to jump in and get started. Again, we're just playing some music here, nothing heavy tonight. And as always, if you have any questions or anything like that, you just want to chit chat a little bit, you can go ahead and put it in the chat, and hopefully if we can get to it, we'll get to it. All right. All right, welcome again to another broadcast. So glad that you guys could join us on this beautiful November the 23rd of 2025. Another wonderful day. And how are you guys doing? What you do today? You get out, or you just allowed your eyelids to do the talking? Yeah, it's been it's nice. Another nice day. I mean, it's really something when you look at the sky after it's been raining for so long, and then you just see those clouds out there. All of a sudden, finally it breaks and you see just the dramatic clouds out there. And then you see that dark blue or medium dark blue sky underneath or behind it and all of that. It just was so nice. And I actually had a chance to sit out in the backyard and just relax. And so we've had so much rain, it's a little muddy, but that didn't stop me because I'm still out there with my bare feet grounding. And it was so nice. I actually did a video. I posted a video over on our Sombetry YouTube page. And so you could check that out. There's this saying, or not necessarily saying, but there's this song from back in the day, I'm going up the rough side of the mountain. And that's what the video was about. Do we really have to go upside the rough side of the mountain? do we really have to do that? Or, because we've had a lot of relatives and people in our family told us, listen, in life, you're going to have a lot of struggles. You're going to have a lot of struggles you're going to have to go through. And, but is that really life? Do we really have to struggle? So we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and play this, and we'll play a couple of songs, and then I'll give you time to think about it, and then we'll come back. Okay. In the meantime, let's sit back and enjoy. I'm going up on the rough side of the mountain. I got a hold to his hand. Yeah, I know I didn't do that well. Okay. But yeah, that's a song that was extremely popular. And I guess it still is to those of us of a certain age. You know, it's got a catchy kind of thing to it and all of that. But the messaging itself, I'm going up the rough side of the mountain. I'm doing my best just to make it in. I'm doing my best, y'all, just to make it in. And that is something, that is a message that we have told ourselves, particularly those of us in the black community, that you have been sentenced because you're black to always struggle, that you are always going to have to struggle. If you want anything in your life, you're going to have to struggle. You're going to have to work. Now, do we have to work hard? Yes. Yes, that working hard and struggling are two different things. You know, when you're working hard, that means you're being very diligent. You are putting in just the effort to build something and all of that. Struggling is the expectation that you are always going to have pushback. You're always going to have pushback. And yes, you will encounter it. You will encounter pushback every now and then. But what if we changed the narrative a little bit? What if we said this? What if we said that, yep, I may encounter some pushback today. However, the frequency that I'm putting out today, I am determining that today I am only going to attract people. I'm only going to attract situations that are going to help me go even further. We do have the ability to do that, to change our narratives. And guess where it starts? It starts with our mouth. Because a lot of times we sentence ourselves with our own mouth. Oh, it's going to be another day. Oh, it's Monday. It's Monday. And you know how Mondays usually go. Yep, that's right. And Monday will continue to go exactly how you are prophesying that it's going to happen. That's right. Oh, I hate going into this place. Every time I go in here, it's just something else I'm going to have to deal with, some other foolishness. That's right. You have sentenced yourself, judge, jury, and executioner. You've already set it in motion. But what if I was to tell you that if you were to curtail that, in fact, stop that altogether and begin to think a little bit higher than that, you could actually change the narrative. In fact, those people that you complain about a lot, that are oftentimes pulling on you, and people that are just draining you of your energy and getting on your last nerves. Well, guess what? After a while, you don't have to put in this big dramatic effort to get them away. Because you have begun to make the changes internally, people will begin to get the notice. They will get the frequency and say, wait a minute, you ain't vibing in the same frequency, the same, you're not putting out the same frequency that you have been putting out before. Because see, the frequency you was putting out before, you know, I could tune into it. You know, I can come into your safe space, and I felt like I can come there and just dump all my stuff, and you just take it. You know, you would just take it. And see, I felt comfortable with that. But see, now something has changed. Something's changed about you. Now I don't feel like I can do that anymore. I'm going to have to move on. I have seen this happen many times in my life where I don't even have to put in any effort to push people away, you know, that need to go away, you know, or you find out that some people, you know, they've had some, you know, if they, in given time, the real them would have come out, and it would have been a lot of mess. And instead of me having to bang my head and figure out and hope and wish and try to figure it out, they just tell on themselves. But it's something that started with, I had to make the change. I had to make the difference in my mindset and just starting with that and begin to use my mouth to tell myself, no, we're not doing that. Just today, I was saying to myself, I said, I have to, there's some things every now and then I go through certain things where I'll feel like I'm not deserving of this. I'm really not deserving of this. Like, it may be something good, but sometimes you feel that, like, I don't want to get too excited. I don't want to get too happy because, something's going to happen. I'm just not deserving of this, and then now, as we've been learning about the brain and all that, the amygdala, that part of your brain that likes to go back in the past and look at similar situations, your amygdala will go back. Yep, that's right. You know what? I'm looking at all these records, from the past, and, it always fell apart. Somehow it always fell apart. Let me build a narrative for you. And let me tell you how it's going to happen, over time. Let me do that for you. Now, remember, like I said, your brain is actually trying to help you, believe it or not. It really is. Your brain isn't your enemy. Your brain is trying to protect you from any future hurt or letdowns. That's exactly what it is. And so our job, our responsibility is to tell that part of our brain, hey, listen, I see what you're trying to do. I do appreciate it. But you know what? No, I'm not going to allow myself to sit in this place where I'm just timid and I'm just like expecting the worst. No, I am going to change. We are going to change this narrative. Now, either you're with me or you're not. We're going to do something about this, but no, I am not repeating the past. Okay. No, nope, not at all. And so that's where you have to do that self-care. That's where you have to start doing things like, begin the eating right, your exercise, of course, your breathing exercises, things like that. That is the key to help change the narrative. And that's what we're all about here, changing the narrative. Before we start talking about changing the narrative in Washington or in politics or wherever, we have to start changing the narrative within us, right? That's what we're about here. So anyway, let's get back to some more music here. And like I said, again, it's an open line, which means that if you got any comments or questions that you would like to add, to tonight's broadcast, go ahead and put them in the chat. And that's it. So let's go ahead. This time, let's play 3 songs in a row. All right, let's go ahead and do that. But let's go ahead, sit back and relax and enjoy this Sunday evening. That was something, huh? I love that one. I love that one. That's quite peaceful, quite peaceful. I'm actually going to be putting together some more just like that. We here at over at sombertree.com, we've been putting up some music over there, and we're going to be, many of the songs that you're hearing, even in this broadcast, we're going to just start moving them over there. And if you would like to purchase them or whatever, 99 cents a song, something cheap. And then I'll be putting some compilations together, albums. We already have about, I guess, 3 over there now. So if you're interested, you could just head on over to sombertree.com and check that out. And like I said, again, this week I will be adding a lot more music over there. So if you just want some to, download, and, you can go there, and then, that's music you can purchase. But but like we always do, we always make music free. We always are giving away stuff. Like very recently, about a couple of weeks ago, we actually gave away a whole album of music. And the way you can access those things is one of 2 ways. You can make sure you're subscribed to our email list over at sombertree.com, where we're giving away things such as music and such as beautiful phone backgrounds that you can download and use for your phone, and a lot of other things too. So yeah, that's one of the main ways I would say is make sure you are on our Sombertree email list. The other way, of course, is make sure you keep your eyes on our community page right here on YouTube, because we will also periodically drop some things there as well. So those are 2 places there that you can also get the free stuff, but a lot of the main stuff, we'll just have that over there at sombertree.com, which incidentally, we are running that up to 30% off promo that we're doing right now. So this week in our last email we sent out, we talked about the Immunity Shield package. Now that one, if you are just wanting to get the whole big thing for your family, it's got a lot of things in it, all kinds of herbs and stuff like that. I'm not going to even go through the list here, but just check it out. Just go to sombertree.com and do a search for Immunity Shield. It's a whole big package. And with the sale that we have going on right now, you can save a lot. So make sure you're taking full advantage of that. Okay. And then of course we have a lot of other things over there as well. And so you heard from someone this week that said that they tried out the new multivitamin drink that we developed. And they said what they did, they said it was awesome. They said what they did was actually poured it over some frozen fruit, and they said, oh my goodness. So yeah, so we're doing a lot of great things over there at sombertree.com. So make sure you check that out. Okay. Yeah. Now this week, what's been going on this week in the news? Well, for me, of course, a whole lot. I've been noticing this week we saw Trump throw one of his loyal soldiers under the bus. Her name is Marjorie Taylor, I think it is. And she's a congresswoman out of Georgia. And he threw her under the bus for 2 reasons. One, she was very adamant about keeping his campaign promise, and that was to make sure that the Epstein files were released. And of course, she was very adamantly against a lot of this pressure in defining America First as America First with an asterisk, which also included the state of Israel, and that we have to see Israel and America as one and the same. Well, that's where she stood her ground on that. And incidentally, in both cases, Trump made it very clear that when it comes to Israel, he said, they're not going to be dictating to me what I'm going, me as president and all that. He's been on record and he said that. And he's also said that, most of his campaign was about the Epstein. We got to release the Epstein stuff because these criminals going to have to be caught, and we're going to drain the swamp and all of that. I remember all of that. Yeah. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah. There you go, Todd. Thank you. Yeah, all of that. And then he got up there and was like, are we still talking about the Epstein files? you know, and just threw his whole base under the bus. And so she made an announcement that she will be stepping down, as of January. And so, yeah, it's if you had any doubts that this country isn't um, subjected under Israel. I mean, this right here, I mean, moves like this just underscore the fact that yes, we are very much under the control of this little tiny little country in what they call the Middle East. Or it's not even a country, it's a nation state. And so this week I've been seeing a lot of that. Where there's a war going on right now. Are you going to support these people, these chosen people, and I've seen black Christians in general, period, that have drawn a line and said, I am going to stand with God's people, and that's that. And then, of course, you got our Hebrew friends that will say that, no, they're not the real people, but we're the real people. And even you can pronounce that all you want, but the fact of the matter is, as I've been saying, is that you're still pushing their narrative. That may not, you may not understand that. It may not be hitting home with you, but you just are, at the end of the day, because why? You're pushing their narrative, but you don't have power to overthrow them. You don't. So it sounds good coming out of your mouth and saying these things, but you don't have the power to do anything about it. So all you're left is pushing their narrative. And what is their narrative? Is attacking Christians and attacking white people. So you're doing their work. Congratulations. And so this is something we've been trying to tell people, but for some people, it's a little bit difficult for them to grasp that. But in the end, it's very much true. And so that's why here we're just really dedicated, not just on this particular platform here, but on the other platforms as well, to really take the time and just go through these things in detail, going in history and showing you this stuff. It's going to take some time, you're not going to, some of you may not get it overnight, but it's there, and so I posted a couple of videos this week over on our long form history channel. So make sure you check that out. And that's where we do take our time and really delve deep into those topics, allowing people to really get into the details. And because, are you tired of being deceived? I know I am. I'm tired of being lied to, and so that's what we're all about here, is undoing the lies and standing on truth. So that's what we're all about here. But in the meantime, let's get back to some more music here. All right. And like I said, again, the line is open. If you have any questions or comments that you would like to make in the chat, you can go ahead and do that. Okay. Let's go ahead and roll this. Let me read something to you. Let me read something to you here. This is something I was reading earlier today. It says this. It says a mountain doesn't grind its way into being a mountain. A tree doesn't try to grow. It simply aligns with what it already is. It grows around obstacles towards light, regardless of weather, without drama. It doesn't chase. It doesn't perform. It doesn't struggle. It becomes by being. You know, I just thought that was something because when you sit down and think for a second, do you ever see a tree struggling? You ever see a tree fighting every day? It just arguing and just like, dog, I just tired of another day. I got to figure out how much. No. Trees are very quiet. But yet every day they're making progress. Here's something else. It says, mountains don't ask permission to be strong. Trees don't ask for validation before they grow. They're stable because they are coherent. Their inner state matches their outward expression. Wow, how about that? They're stable because they are coherent. Their inner state matches their outward expression. So that's something to ask yourself. Does your outward expression throughout the day, does it match your inner state? Does it? And I know I keep pushing these breathing exercises. You would think I'm getting some money off of it the way I've been pushing it, but I assure you I'm not. It's totally free. But I'm telling you, the way I react to things before this, it's different. You know, where even on, somebody cut me off on a highway or something like that, I'm like, what's this crazy people, all that. Nope. It's different. It's definitely different. And, yeah, it's definitely different. And, even, it's another business we have, Nicole showed an email we received. It was a nasty one. This individual was nasty at what they were saying. I thought about briefly. I said I should share it one day, but no, this was horrible, nasty, and it's amazing how people can, for me, by the time I'm either writing something, an email or a text or even getting behind the microphone, I've already thought of it through before I actually do it, because I know once it gets into the digital space, it's a wrap. It just amazes me how some people just say and do whatever. They don't even think that part out, and don't realize that, man, all I got to do is this and it will just wipe you out. You know what I mean? But it just was one to kind of think of. And the interesting thing about it, this individual is actually dying of cancer. And you imagine you dying of cancer and you are literally being nasty and vile. And it's like, man, that's how you want to go out? Okay, well, ain't nothing for me to say. It is absolutely nothing for me to say. And so, but yeah, what's in her, that's what's coming out. That must be the cancer. No, she the cancer. She's the cancer. It ain't, no, that ain't nothing. No, she the cancer. And I would venture to believe sometimes, how they say you are what you eat, and you wonder why some people are nasty and vile. Well, take a look at what they eat. That's probably a good place to start, because they probably aren't eating right. And that's going to come out. It is going to come out. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. We got a few more songs here. I'm not going to be here too much longer. But let's just not be that person. Let's not be that vile, wicked, evil person, okay? Let's get our minds right, okay? We can do it. You can do it. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We're going to, because this wasn't going to be trying to keep it probably down to like an hour or so, about an hour. But like I said again, if you like what you're hearing, the music that you're hearing, yeah, there's several ways you can access it. One, we're putting together compilations that you'll be able to purchase over on Sabatree.com. You can purchase over there. And we already got several albums over there now. We're going to be this week adding some more albums. That's one. And secondly, like I said, we're always giving away free stuff, free music. And make sure you're subscribed to our Sabatree email list, because we're always giving away stuff over there. We gave away a whole album recently, so you may have missed it. So make sure when we get those emails, you check it out, because we're always tucking something in there free just for you. And not just the music and like I said, phone backgrounds, and then also a ton of free information, that's good for your health and your wellness. Remember, we are running an up to 30% off promo right now. This is a great time for you to save big, to invest in the health and wellness of you and your family over at Sabatree.com. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and leave off with this particular number here. This one is called My Time. All of these had titles, by the way. I just didn't read them all. But yeah, I'm not just making stuff. I mean, I'm putting titles on these things. But this one is called My Time. And we're going to go ahead and leave off with this. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you're hearing, put it in the comments. Let us know, and then we'll keep it going, And yeah, that's it. So thanks again for tuning in, you guys. You guys take care. And then we're just going to leave off with this one. My Time. All right, let's go.